Is it on, Jimmy?
Hey, this is Willie T, and this is Sorry We're Stoned. Man, we don't even know what we're going to call this yet.
We haven't came up with a name, but essentially, it's gonna be one of those, is it worth it for video games? I'm Louis V, by the way. I'm usually the guy behind the camera. I also do the video editing, so you don't see much of me, but I'm here now.
But you don't see much of him, but you see a lot of his work, okay? So that's how it works out like that. So, we're going to be talking about video games because, last night we were playing a game, Zombies, the new map. We've been playing Zombies because that seems to be a pretty popular game. But as for me, I'm not much of a Call of Duty player.
No, totally. I totally fell off that whole Call of Duty phase a long time ago. So a little background about me. I'm 22 years old, so I'm a little baby. One of the first consoles that I got that was multiplayer, so forget the PS2, forget the Game Boy, forget all that fun stuff, was an Xbox 360. And the first game that I ever got for it was Modern Warfare 2. That was my first ever Call of Duty. I fell in love with it. I had a bunch of friends that we'd all play together. It's like you'd get home from school, like 13 years old. I was one of the squeakers in voice chat,
Yeah.
But man, that was the stuff. It was the most fun I've ever had.
And that's the same for me when I'm going on 40 this next year. Oh my gosh, right? And we were playing, Call of Duty back when it was World at War, and playing Modern Warfare, and was really enjoying it. That's when we had our little squad. We were taking maps. I mean, I would spend more time looking at the map and where my players' positions were.
Yes.
Being like, Jamie, push up on the left flank, more than actually playing the game.
I also had something that I think it's definitely lost in time. It lost its community.
Yeah.
So though the first Call of Duty I ever played was Modern Warfare 2, I absolutely fell in love with was World at War.
Yeah.
Whether it be the online, whether it be the campaign, or the one and only Nazi zombies, the number one
the
Nazi
original zombies.
You got Noctur Toten, then you got the DLCs coming out with Verrux, then you got Shino Numa, and then Darius.
And
that
new
was
story.
the biggest problem with me. See, I was a squeaker at 13, right? I was Modern Warfare 2, that was revolutionary for me. I've never played a multiplayer game like that where I felt like I was in battle. And then I played the newest one, which was Black Ops 1 when that first came out. Man, the graphics were fucking garbage.
And Zombies was all right, but it's still like my first introduction to Zombies was when they had the bus, and the robots on it. But it still
That
was
was Black Ops
like
2.
it was still like very arena-ish, It was like an unreal arena.
Totally.
You just ran around, shot each other, shot the zombies in that case, and it was very lackluster to me.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Transit, so we're gonna jump all the way to Black Ops 2 because that's what you're talking about. Transit was revolutionary at its time, but I felt the same way. So essentially on that map, you would you'd start out in your spawn location, which was the bus stop, and it was really small. You had barriers, blah blah blah. And when you guys were ready, you would hop on the bus, and then it would take you to the next map. But these maps were little tiny boys. So, there wasn't.
And it was basically just you're standing in the corner and you're trying to shoot, just back and forth, back and forth, and try to stay alive.
There wasn't a point to Zombies. See, and that's coming from somebody. I played Darius more than I played multiplayer. Like my first game, like I said, was Modern Warfare 2, but I spent more time on World at War Zombies than any other Call of Duty because I loved that map. But at one point in time, it got old, and I just threw it away. There was no reason to play it anymore.
There was no reason.
And it's like Black Ops 1 zombies come out, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. I play maybe 5, 10, 15 games of it, throw it away.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
And
so on and so forth. It just became the same thing with
Same
different graphics, different guns, And like, sure, they would add like, oh, now there's these creepy things.
You could buy a different color gun, man, if you give us some microcredits and stuff.
Man, okay. But we're gonna get on this.
Microtransactions. So basically it boiled down to it lost its lackluster. We constantly felt like the game is just getting put out with a new slap coat of paint, some new microtransactions, and it was bad. I mean, when Louis and me were talking and we were like, we're gonna add Call of Duty to, our game nights, we both were kind of like,
Yay.
Alright, we'll play some Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But then what happened, Louis?
Okay, so let me give you a little rundown. So usually I was the guy in the background when we had Peyton, Curtis, Alicia, and you playing some zombies, right, on the new map, on the new Cold War. And I was like, wow, this is sick for the first round. Second round came up and I'm like, dear God, can we play anything but zombies, man? Like, I've seen it a million times. And it was
it's like
boring.
you work two areas. You just go from this area to that area.
To this area to that area.
Are
Oh my gosh.
in this area?
Leave a crawler. Dude,
Yeah.
it takes so long to go anywhere, and the reality is it's pointless. It's like, sure, you can do those Easter eggs. Sure, you can get this done, that done. Yeah. But there's no sense of accomplishment. And that's what really threw me out of zombies and threw me out of even the multiplayer Call of Duties.
Yeah.
But then it happened. Last night, we get that drop. Outbreak.
New map.
New
Outbreak.
map. And man, the amount of stuff they changed. So
this is game changing. Like, if you don't know, this is game changing. If you don't have this game yet, it changed the fundamentals of Call of Duty. It may have single-handedly saved the franchise from old boys like me.
Absolutely.
You know, and even young guys like you.
Absolutely. And they were like, okay, we're gonna do Battle Royale. And that kind of bring in that like challenge, but it
wasn't new because it was just a copycat. I mean, they were just doing what 8 other games were doing,
Now then Cold War comes out, and what do? They flip the script. They say, okay, we know you guys like big open maps. And we're all like, yeah. And they're like, we also know that you want something more to do. You want an objective style. You want something that feels desolate, but also impactful. Let's just get straight into it. Outbreak is game changing. So what we have inside of this map is you got a giant open world. It can be one, I think we've only seen like 3, but apparently there's 4, 5, or 6. I don't know that number.
I think it's 4. I think it is 4 maps.
But there are 4 gigantic maps. We're not talking transit. We're not talking these little. No, we're talking like there is 7 different, locations. You got, this happening over here, that happening over here. You got dragons. You got I don't even understand it
just
yet.
Different things. And different level of zombies were attacking you, and it felt real. It felt like when you got dropped with your team, you really felt like you had to go somewhere. And to me, one of the greatest moments, and maybe you guys are seeing it right now because we're going to put up a video right here behind us. You've probably been watching it. But there's, I found myself not shooting a zombie for once, and just watching it, sit there and walk around while I sit there with my bead right on its head, like, this is actually really interesting.
Yep.
Because I always felt like, the other maps, no matter where you're at, that zombie's going to find you. It's like they have a beacon tracking on you.
Totally.
But the thing was these zombies were in groups and they were walking around. I mean, it was fun to sit there with the 50 cal on top of a roof and shoot them down the Alpine when they're just way down there and you're just blowing them up and you're like blown away. I mean, they're really glad you did. And I think the beauty too, when I first joined it seemed a little too easy at first. And within a couple rounds, we found ourselves really hammered down and getting our butts kicked, and you gotta really work together. It's a whole different feel. It's not more like 2 people back into the corner and just constantly spray because they've upgraded everything to the max.
Thank you.
It's more like you have to work together to cover the specific thing you're looking for, cover the person carrying the thing.
Exactly.
And you gotta work together.
Exactly.
You can't just be praying and spraying.
It is revolutionary, game-changing, because what they've done is they've almost embezzled DayZ. I don't know if a lot of our viewers know what DayZ is, but it used to be an Arma 2 mod. Now it's actually a standalone game. But DayZ is essentially you you are in this desolate world and there's zombies around and there's survivors and blah 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 blah. But there was no objective even in that game.
Yeah.
Even as a standalone, it felt like you were playing Nazi zombies but with no rounds. This, on the other hand, instead of just dropping down in a world, killing some zombies, and it goes round 2, it's like, okay, you got an objective. Here you go. It is 2,000 meters that way. You need to find guns.
And that's the thing. It actually introduces another, because I love survival games. I'm an ARK player, Atlas. That is my thing. I love those games.
And I run into Rust. I totally get
We
you.
gotta check out Venhelm or whatever
Yes,
it is.
yes.
I mean, those are my type of games. I love
Totally.
that. And I really like this because even though you can just rush to the objective, there was moments once we were playing last night where we actually pulled back. It was like, you know what? Let's upgrade. Let's work on this.
Yeah.
And we had to gather resources. So we started searching older buildings, different buildings. And it was really about gathering our resources, pulling our resources together so we had the right equipment.
It finally adds that feeling of you're really in a post-apocalyptic zombie feel. It's that Left 4 Dead grunge. Like, dude, we're screwed if we don't find these things. Because when you run through that teleporter, if you are not ready, you will be shown quickly that you are not ready.
Oh, it was crazy too, because we went from level 2 to level 3, and it was drastic.
No, it's not like round 1, round 2, round 3. No, it will jump significantly.
It's like going from normal to very hard.
Yeah, no, and that's what I loved about it. It's got that challenge of like a Dead Souls challenge. Like, it's got that openness like a DayZ or like a Rust. It's got that survival like ARK. Like, I mean, even Minecraft, it's got that feeling. That feeling of like you are in the middle of nowhere. Good luck.
Survive.
They rope it all around with that. You need to do these objectives. The point
Actually, that was really nice about the objectives, because one thing I found about some of the the current, what is it? How do they pronounce the other maps?
Oh, Die Machine.
Or whatever,
Noctur Toten with a new skin, but they did make it a little better.
The guys are annoying. The story is annoying. It's an annoying story that lays over top of you, trying to shoot your gun and try to hear what the heck they're saying.
Thank you.
And it makes no sense. Their little objective, basically. But with this story, it really felt like we were following a story. And I was actually looking forward to hearing what they said instead of muting them and turning them off, because I forgot to turn them back off when I got home. I was listening to them and I was like, this ain't that bad.
No, the same.
Because they made it in between. They didn't make it like, oh, I'm shooting 1,000 zombies, all I can hear is go see a whole bunch of things you don't know nothing about.
Exactly.
Instead, it was like, boom, you guys got to go protect this person. This thing is going to go through the anomaly, and this is why. And then even for a new player that doesn't understand the lore of zombies, it made sense, and that was a good thing. So it's even for people looking to get into the game.
Yes.
And
another cool fun fact. See, like I said, even though I'm younger, I'm a big zombie enthusiast. We had Dempsey, we had Takio, we had Richtofen, we had Nikolai, we had the original 4 zombies guys. You would see them all over the place. They got rid of them for a second and then realized, whoa, we can't do that. Put them back in. And it was fulfilling. But then we heard that it was coming completely to an end. We were losing those characters, and it was heartbreaking. But I'll tell you right now, the new character design, the new character development, the way that they're going with this, I can see it becoming the next Nikolai, the next Richtofen, the next... It's not that same premise, but it's got that same feel. It feels like something that I'd actually want to dive into the lore of. I would want to get into that.
And then what all these characters, and I'm like the new guy, so coming from like a new perspective, like I really like the depth that the zombies had. There were so many different zombies. I don't know all their names, but I really felt like I seen a hippie zombie standing next to a van, and like I seen like chick zombies and armored zombies and zombies that wore helmets and vest, and I seen GI zombies, Nazi zombies, and the whole a whole slew of different zombies in there. So it really didn't feel any stagnant, like you're shooting the same zombie character over and over and over.
You got Russian civilian zombies. You have Spetsnaz zombies. You have armored zombies that were regular, they're militia corps. I don't know the name.
No, then you got the Resident Evil zombie.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. But then it goes into mutations, and the first couple of times we saw mutations in zombies, it was like, whoa, this is cool, weird. This is weird. This is wrong. This is not zombies. I don't like it. And that was with the whole Gumball one. I think that was Black Ops 3. And then they bring it into World War II. Call of Duty World War II, they had zombies in there. And I actually really liked that. They had the big boss fights and stuff. They had objectives, but it was really doing the Easter egg. And then when it was done, it was done. And it was like the end.
Yeah.
And I know you probably didn't play World War II, but that zombies was awesome for me. I really enjoyed it, but it was lackluster in that objectives. And that was just changing about Outbreak, is the objectives were necessary to be able to get the story. It felt like Left 4 Dead, but in an open world, post-apocalyptic DayZ style. You can be in parts of the map where there's no zombies, but you know that they're around, and that feeling of like ambience, that creepy feeling.
Creepy kids laughing.
Oh my god! And
that freaked me out.
Dude, the
first
sound
time I went
effect
up to
design. Keep going,
and we
keep
didn't
going.
even have audio because we were having audio issues. But if you heard me, I was literally freaked out. Like I was like, this is too much. Like you just hear a little laugh. I'm out. Hear me out.
No.
It really brought you into the game, and I think that's what's nice about the storyline and that's why I feel this game is game changing.
Absolutely.
For the whole series, they saved Call of Duty with this because it brings so many levels. You got the people who know the story, the core, and new guys that haven't played in years to jump in. It's really fun to pop zombies' heads off.
Absolutely. So the big question is the new Call of Duty as a whole worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, you spend $60, they rehash the story over and over for you. You spend $60. Is it worth the $60 for Call of Duty Zombies? What is this? What they call it again? Call of Duty Outbreak. I say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's worth it. As an older guy, that fell off the franchise, to me, I was blown away. I seriously believe that this saved Call of Duty. They're definitely going to increase. And if you haven't picked it up, I mean, they're not sponsoring us. We're not sponsoring nothing like that.
No. I wish we were sponsored by Activision.
But Activision, holla at us.
Yeah, man.
Holla.
Yeah, man.
You want those stoners to talk about your stuff? Come holla at us. All right. So, which is funny because they have a skin, which was pointed out by a 15-year-old to me, right?
Yeah.
That they have a skin in there that you could deck your gun up.
What was that?
I don't care how much it is. I will never purchase it. I will never buy a microtransaction. Everybody's like, you gotta get that skin. I was like, somebody's gonna have to give me that shit because I will never microtransaction. I am anti-microtransaction guy, okay?
So Willie's giving it a thumbs up. And
yes.
I'm gonna give you the critical thing that I believe about it. Is Cold War worth it? Before Outbreak? Absolutely not. It is the same style multiplayer. It's that same thing you've seen over and over. Matter of fact, they have Nuketown still in it. 7 years? 8 years later?
And what did we say when we first played Die Machine or whatever?
Die Machine?
I was like, I've been here, and I haven't played Call of Duty in 10 years.
Okay, so the map that we had Firebase and we had Die Machine. But you start off in the first original Zombies map of World of War.
Yeah.
And sure, they opened it up, which is really cool, but like, they opened it up to where you could be on the outside. I'm like, whoa, this is revolutionary. And then they did some weird thing where you go through a tunnel, and it had lost me. It completely lost me. So before Outbreak, absolutely not.
Not worth it. No.
Never ever pick this game up.
Trust me, we were cursing about having to buy a couple copies. Like,
Straight up. Outbreak comes out yesterday, and I go from I'm a coin. I flip completely on the opposite side, 100%. If this game costs $40 and the only thing I got was Outbreak, I'd spend the $40.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for that extra $20, sure, I'll take the crap that I've seen all the other times. Whatever. It's nice to kind of change it up a little bit. Outbreak is worth $40, and it's worth.
I think they left it open for a more linear story with DLC too, because of the way the design is made and how you're jumping to different areas and different worlds inside your gameplay. It means that when they add maps or anything, it just it's plug and play. It plugs right into there, and you just have a whole new feel with it, and I can see it going far.
They have started the new zombies. I know all of you out there, if you're like me, you're a big zombies fan, you've wanted to just see Call of Duty's Zombies. It's just a $60 game, and that's all it is. Zombies related. 100%. I think this is where it comes in. And this is revolutionary.
Yeah, and this still includes everything else. I mean, we don't even play multiplayer. We don't play the competitions.
I mean, we did play Prop Hunt.
We did play Prop Hunt, yeah, but you know, it includes all that stuff. So is it worth it now? Yeah, it's worth it now. I wouldn't have bought it 2 months ago.
Game changing.
But definitely worth it now.
Game changing. Outbreak is what's going to change zombies and Call of Duty forever. It's the new Warzone. And I know Warzone was big for a lot of you, but I've played too many battle royales, and they've only been out, what, 3-4 years?
That's for another video, man, because I still think Battlefield's fire one with the fire zone, or whatever they call it, it's basically Warzone, but instead of a ball of gas, it's the fire. That is classic, but that is for another one on our channel. So you know what, if you guys like this video, you want to see us talk more about the gaming industry, I mean, we got a lot of years experience on the gaming industry. I've been following these companies for a long time. Louis just as much into these games.
Absolutely.
We love talking about it.
I don't have the years on it, but dude, I had the dedication.
And the funny thing is, we find ourselves conversating all the time about video games, and we're just like, we need to make this a video so you guys can see it.
I mean, that's literally what we do here on Sorry We're Stoned, and it's amazing how we haven't started it until now. I'm glad we did.
So we hope you enjoy this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we're going to be out, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace out.
Peace.